Hey everyone, welcome to Meeple Bits. Thanks for joining me today. So today we're going to go through the game Unstable Unicorns, a game originally published in 2017 for 2 to 8 players. This game, self-published, originally backed on Kickstarter as a sort of party card game. I don't have any really fun intros on this one, so let's go ahead and just dive right into the how to play this neat little card game with a lot of sort of take that mechanics. Quick disclaimer, this box was a Kickstarter exclusive box, so I'm not sure if it's still available for purchase, but the box here says learn how unstable your friendships really are. So let's find out as we go through a quick how to play this game Unstable Unicorns. Hey everyone, welcome back to a 3-player setup of the game Unstable Unicorns. Before diving into what's out here on the table, let me quickly address the different types of cards that are going to come out during the course of play. You've got, you got your unicorn cards, like this one, and this one specifically is a magical unicorn, as indicated by the sort of blue as well as the text right down here. Card type, magical. You've got your baby unicorns, which are indicated in the upper left-hand corner here by sort of a pinkish purple icon. And then you've got your basic unicorns, indicated by a sort of purplish blue horn icon. Also, it'll say basic there, as well as down here, card type unicorn, basic. In addition, you've got action cards, indicated in the upper left of here with an exclamation point. You've got power-up cards with an up arrow and an orange marker in the left. You've got downgrade cards with a down arrow and a yellow color. And then you have magic cards, indicated with a star in the upper left and a green. All the cards will have that sort of iconography as well as supporting text to sort of tell you exactly what they do. This one, trade a unicorn in your stable for a unicorn in any other player's stable. So those are the different card types that are going to come up during the course of play. And that's it. That's all you really need to know to then begin the setup and start diving in. So what does that setup look like? Well, here we have a 3-player game. Player 1, 2, and 3. To begin, you're going to create a stable of baby unicorns. The baby unicorn cards are the only ones marked with the white back. So you've got a wide variety of them. They don't do anything special, but as you see here, if this card would be sacrificed, destroyed, or returned to your hand, return it to the nursery instead. So when setting up the game, create a nursery of baby unicorns. Next, create a draw pile. And then what'll be here will be your sort of discard pile. Let me use my example cards for a discard pile. There we go. So now you have your discard pile. Next, all players should take or be handed out one baby unicorn in a 3 or greater player game. 2-player variant I'm not going to go into in this demonstration, so check the website for those different rules. But in a 3 or more player game, everyone gets a single baby unicorn placed into their sort of stable or play area, as we'll call it. Then all players are dealt 5 cards. Here's my starting hand. Randomly dealt. So once you have everything set up, you can also hand out all players a reference card. And this tells you exactly what to do on your turn and how the game is played. So let's go ahead and just zoom in and take a look at that. And then let's talk about how a turn is played and then start going at it. At the beginning of your turn, you're going to activate any effects. And then these words you're definitely going to want to make reference of. But activating effects at the beginning of your turn is important because if any of your unicorns or power-ups that are going to, or power downs rather, upgrades or downgrades, indicate at the beginning of your turn, that is literally at the beginning of your turn. If you miss the opportunity and then go to the next one, which is the draw phase, where you're going to draw one card from the draw pile, well, you've missed the beginning of your turn and can no longer activate any of those special abilities. Next up, action phase. You're going to play one card from your hand or draw a second card from the deck. Then you're ready to end your turn. You're going to discard down to the max hand limit of 7 cards. And that's it. Then the next person's going to go. They're going to do the beginning of their turn and activate any effects, draw up one card from the draw pile, play a card or draw another card, and then draw down or discard down to 7. Words you need to know. The different cards that are going to come out are going to have these specific vernaculars. Sacrifice, destroy, discard, in play, bring directly into play. Sacrifice is where you send a card in your stable. So right now, this is what my stable looks like here. So this baby unicorn is the only thing that I have in my stable. But when sacrificing, you are sacrificing from within your own stable, whether that be a unicorn, a upgrade, or a downgrade. Destroy. Send a card from another player's stable to the discard pile. That's where you're then going to go to your opponent's stables and take a card, whether it be an upgrade or downgrade, and some cards might indicate specifically one or the other, or a unicorn, and then send them to the discard pile. Discard. Cards that are in cards currently in a player's, send a card from your hand. So this is my hand. So if anything says to discard, I'm going to pull it from my hand that I'm using to play. In play, cards in the player's stable, and then bring directly into play. Add this to your stable immediately and does not count as your turn or action. And that's it. That's really all you need to know to start playing. Again, turn order. Let me recap setup. Setup, everyone gets a baby unicorn, everyone gets 5 cards, draw pile, discard pile, and stable of baby unicorns. Next up on your turn, begin your turn by activating any immediate effects that happen to be here in your stable. Let's see if there's anything that I can show as an example of an immediate effect. Here we go. This Double Dutch. If this card is in your stable at the beginning of your turn, you may play 2 cards during your turn instead of 1. So if this card were in my stable as an upgrade, when I'm ready to start my turn, I could activate this and say, I'm ready to start this. Then that way, I'm going to draw up 1 card. Or I guess that's not really at the beginning of my turn. Sorry. Now that says as long as it's in your stable. Anyway, you guys get the idea. So, discard, that's fine. Then I'm going to draw up 1 card, play 1 card, or draw a second card, draw down to 7. That's my turn. So let's go ahead and take a couple of turns so that we see exactly what that looks like. So let's take a look at our current hand. We see here that I've got a nay card, and this nay card can be used whenever another player is about to play a card, and that could be any type of play, as they're about to put a card into play in any capacity, and then you can throw out the nay card and basically negate that action from happening. So I'm ready to begin my turn. To start, draw up 1 card. Okay, looks like we've got a magical unicorn. And now I'm going to play 1 card. Looking at my hand here, this one, for round 1, wouldn't make sense to play because it allows me to go through the discard. And since I'm first and this discard pile isn't really there, I'm going to pretend that there's not a discard pile. But this one is incredible. So, when this card enters your stable, that means I'm playing it and putting it into my stable. When this card enters your stable, each player must give you a card from their hand. So I'm going to play that one. Put it into my stable. Now every player must give me 1 card from their hand. Just take it at random. Now I'm ending my turn, drawing down to 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exactly 7 cards, so I'm in the clear. Now it's going to be the next player's turn. Let's see what they have. Okay, a lot of magic cards. 1, 2, there we go. So, their turn. draw up one card, and then they're either going to draw up a second card or play. Let's see here, some magic cards. Return a card in any player's stable to the player's hand. That player must then discard a card. That's a pretty nice take that, and I feel like that's a decent play. So they're going to play this card on player 1 who just stole a card from them. Return a card in any player's stable to that player's hand. So they don't want to do this one, right? Because then when I play it again, they're just going to have to give me another card. So instead, they're going to return this one into my hand. Oh, no, sorry. Instead of returning to the hand, the baby unicorns go right back here. So that's actually really good. So now I've lost my first baby unicorn. And I guess I didn't go over what the end condition is. Sorry. The ending condition is, let me double check for a 3+ game. So the winning condition, though, is when you have, in a 3 to 5 player game, 7 unicorns in your stable. In a 6 to 8 player game, 6 unicorns in your stable. So how that works is, once you've placed that, in this game, that 7th unicorn into your stable, the game is over and you win. The first person, that's how it's worded, the first person to hit that 7th one then is the winner. No subsequent turns, no more actions to be done, unless you've got a nay card to prevent that person from putting it into play. So back to that player's turn. So they've just played that action card, but there's something else that it says to do as well. Sorry. Then that player must discard a card. So they've just used it on player 1, so they've had to lose a unicorn, and now they have to go through and discard a card. I guess we'll go ahead and discard this one. Okay, now player 3. They're up. Start of their turn. They don't have any activation at the start of your turn to activate, so drawing up one card. It's a magical unicorn. Looking through their hand. This is a pretty decent one. When the card enters your stable, you may search the deck for an upgrade card, add it to your hand, then shuffle the deck. So I'm going to play this one. That's my turn, and then it says to go through the deck, find an upgrade card. This one requires a basic unicorn, so I can't use that one. Basic unicorn. Basic unicorn. Basic. There we go. That one's good enough. And then it says to shuffle, so we'll just give it a quick shuffle. There we go. Glitter Bomb. If this card is in your stable at the beginning of your turn, you may sacrifice a card, then destroy a card. So put that in my hand like so, and then back to the first player. Same thing's going to happen. They're going to draw up a card, play or draw another card, and then end of the turn. So I hope you guys get a general idea of how to play the game Unstable Unicorns. So stay tuned while I just pack up the little box that it comes in and bring you my afterthoughts. Hey everyone, welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that setup and playthrough of the game Unstable Unicorns. So let's go ahead and jump right in. Components. Yeah, look, it's a lot of cards. Nothing too fancy, nothing really to write home about either. When I first opened the box and started playing through the game, one thing that I did notice is that, kind of left a little grimy feeling on my hands, but not too much of a big deal. I'm sure that'll wear off over, quite a few more playthroughs, and that's okay. The box that came with it for the Kickstarter is pretty neat. It's got this sort of holographic finish on it, which I think is really cool. I definitely enjoyed that one. But as far as components go, not really too much to address. But one thing that I do want to address is the type of, the type of player this is good for and how many players it should be done with. So let me go ahead and address first that I did a few playthroughs. The first time that I played through it, it was with 2 players. So let me get this out of the way. Do not buy this game if you are only playing it with 2 players. It was one of the more unfun experiences that I had. I tried it a couple of times, just to give it another chance. And with two players, it just, I don't know, it missed the mark almost entirely. So really, guys, this game is best played. I think it's for what, two to eight players with a playtime of 30 to 45 minutes. Playtime, yeah, spot on in every one of our playthroughs, but it says that it's good for two players, but no, it's really not. So best played probably with at least four people. Reason being is because there's cards that say, certain things happen, take it from any stable, and when you're only taking it from one other person's stable, well, just again loses a little bit of its fun factor. So that's why I cannot recommend this for two players. Above that, yeah, it's a pretty decent card game. And the fact that it can get up to 8 players, so if you've got like a dinner night and you want to bring over a bunch of people and you want a easy to learn game, then yeah, this one is definitely in that wheelhouse. So reasons to add this game to your collection. Reasons you may want to add this to your collection is because you like those kind of games that have the ability to have more players. So you've got larger party nights or larger game nights, and you want to be able to include everyone. And look, let's face it, not every game needs to be a deep strategic 4-player show. Sometimes these quick, fun card games, they fit the bill just nicely. So if you're the type of gamer that enjoys a larger group at your game nights and you want to be able to play one or two rounds of a game in a single evening, then this one might fit the bill. Reasons to not add this to your collection? Well, for the reason I just mentioned, don't add it if you're only going to be playing or if you're mostly playing with two players. I can't give it, I don't want to gripe on that one too much, but it just was not fun for me at all for two players. Reasons you may not want to add it to your collection even when adding more players is because, look, for me, even after playing it a number of times with more people, it was an okay-ish party game. There was the artwork is really whimsical. The NSFW deck was entertaining, so I'll give it a mark for that one. But overall, guys, there are, in my opinion, better games that you might want to bring to the table for, what limited time we might have to play games on any given game night. So overall, Unstable Unicorns is decent enough to add it and, not very expensive to bring it into your collection if you're so inclined. The artwork is a ton of fun, but, after playing it maybe another dozen or so times, I'll have seen every card through it and I'll have already done that. So maybe a reason not to add it. But that's my overall take, guys. Don't get this for two players. It's a pretty fun game at 3 or more players. We played it, I think, with 6 players. So I never got it to a full 8-player game. I feel like that might just be too much. Reason being is because you're constantly needing to see the small print on the cards. And so you're like looking around a giant table thinking, all right, who's got the best one that I can take this, do this magic card on that's going to, make the biggest impact. So that can be a little frustrating because you're constantly trying to see, around a large table, what other people might, one, have in their stable, and two, what those cards in their stable do. Because there's a lot of cards that if they return to the player's hand, well, once they play it right back on a subsequent turn, well, now they're doing damage all over again. So some cards that have that power up, yeah. The other reason why not to get it for 2 players is because, one, in the rule book, it doesn't even have the full 2-player variant. They refer you to a website, and that just really rubbed me the wrong way. But then 2, they make you take out a bunch of cards. 1, the basic unicorns, they get removed. 2, a specific list of the different named cards that you should also remove. But there was still a number of power-up cards or upgrade cards that required a basic unicorn. Well, wait a second. In a 2-player variant, I had to pull out all basic unicorns. So now I've got a bunch of cards in the deck that require a basic unicorn that I can never have. So That's why I would say not for 2 players. For 3 or more, it's pretty all right. Anyway, guys, if you've played Unstable Unicorns and, well, I'd appreciate your thoughts on it, because for me, look, I can't highly recommend it in any capacity, even as a party type game. But if you think differently, please leave a comment down below. If you've just happened upon this video and you've enjoyed it, I appreciate the support. Feel free to throw a subscribe. Until next time, guys, thanks so much for watching.